Hello class and welcome back. In this set of videos we're going to be working with our different text elements inside of InDesign. And you see here that I have my poster.indd file open just like I finished it in the last project, although there is one small difference. In the last project video I told you to make sure this height was set to 10.5 inches. It was actually supposed to be 10 inches even. So if you set it to 10.5, make sure you go back in here and change your height on your frame to be 10 inches. And then move your jazz player up appropriately, and you can see the different coordinates I have for them here. Really, you can come in and just eyeball it and make sure it's just above the stroke. So, InDesign, though we've created graphics inside of InDesign to use for this case by using gradient filters and the custom image maps and so on and so forth, it's really meant to be used with text. And since we are working with a poster here, we're about to add in the text for our project now. So to do this, we're going to use what's called text threading. Text threading allows us to take one text file and use its contents among multiple. And to do that, we're going to first have to create multiple different text frames and work with all of those different all those different frames and all of the different text. So to do this, we'll first have to create our text frame. So for me, I'm going to zoom in here, come right over here, and let's move this effects panel into our sidebar. First, we're going to select our text, our type tool, and we're going to create a new text box by just clicking and dragging. And you're going to want to make sure that this box is set to 9 inches wide by 1 inch tall. And we're going to want to make sure that the text frame, the top edge of the text frame, is set at Y11.25. And you can see it moves just up just a little bit there. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to create 3 more text boxes, again, using the type tool. And I'm just going to come in here and create 3 in the general spots where I want them. And I do know that these aren't exactly right, but I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool and select the first text box. We're going to change all the parameters here. We'll make sure our top left is selected as our reference point. Make sure X is 1 inch, Y is 12.45 inches, width is 3.2 inches, and height is 3.55. And I'm pulling all these parameters directly from the text on page 456 under step 4. And so we're going to go to frame 3, which will be this one, and we're going to change our X coordinate to 5. We're going to change our Y coordinate to 12.45. We're going to change our width coordinate to 5 inches, and we're going to change our height coordinate to 3.55. And do make sure that you can see I actually typed 2.55 here. I want to change it to 3.55. And then finally we have our other text box here. Now right off the bat this might look odd to you because we're already kind of going over the margins. We've already filled all this up. We're actually going to place this fourth text box just underneath the margin over here. This will be where the web address goes in the final piece. Alright, so we're going to change X to 1, Y to 16.1, width to 9 inches, and height to 0.5. And we can see we have that set there. Now, again, sometimes you're going to, as you tackle various projects as a designer, you will come into instances where it's okay to have things that live outside the margins of your page. Just like we have this overlap here with the Jazzman, we can have this down here for the address. The one thing I would caution you about in future projects is make sure that you do maintain, I like to maintain about 1/4 of an inch at least between the edge of the page and my final text object, just to account for different errors in page trimming or in cutting during the printing process. Alright, so now we have all of our text files, and we are going to make sure we have our first text frame selected, and we're going to go to File and Place, except this time instead of placing a image file, we're going to place a .doc or .doc file. Alright, we'll hit Open, and you can see it gives me this little cursor set up with this text box. So first we're going to select this one, and you can see that it puts my title and my first set of first couple of people in here for the acts that will be on stage. And you can also see we have this little red button over here. What this little red cross means, again, is that there is more text here than what our text box allows us to see, and this is how we thread our text throughout our document. So we're actually going to take this plus tool and we're going to select our second, and you can see that this allows us to kind of link these two together. So now if I come in here above performances and click enter, 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 and you can see how this is going between those two text frames even though they are separated. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we are going to also link from this frame to this frame and from this frame to our fourth frame. The way we're going to do this is by using our selection tool, selecting this box, clicking this little white box right here, and click on the next one. And then we're going to move from the third frame to the fourth by repeating that process again, clicking this little white square and coming down to the last one. So right now, you might be wondering how we were able to do that without having any extra text. Well, in InDesign, you can actually link these as many times as you need, even if there's not enough text to fill it up yet. So now, if I come in here above Johnny Walker, you can see I am moving it around and moving it around, and I can take it back to that other text frame, and we have everything set up just like we want it. So, going to the next part we're going to do, just so you can see what all these look like, we're going to go to View, Extras, and we're going to show text threads. And might still be, because I'm still selected here. Yep. So you can see we've gone from this box to this box, from this frame to this frame, and finally from this frame to this frame. I know it looks a little haphazard right now, but as we move through the rest of the project, you'll be able to see how this really comes in handy. So, we could come, now I'm going to turn this off real quick, again go to View, Extras, and we're going to go Hide Text Threads. Now I could come in here now that we have this set up and manually come in here and hit enter and hit our other breaks, but I'm going to show you what that does to us as we go through. So I've come in here and I've just hit enter kind of randomly to get this in here. We'll say I want to come back in here and take these spaces up. Well, it's moving everything, even what I have in the other text boxes. So to avoid this when working in your project, we're going to insert what are called manual text breaks. Now to do this, what we're going to do is click right after Jazz Fest 2013, and then we're going to go to Type, Insert, Break Character, and we're going to do this as a frame break. Now if you've worked in Microsoft Word before, you might be familiar with page breaks. It's the same concept here, but instead of moving from page to page, we're moving from frame to frame in the order that we threaded everything in. So I'm going to click frame break, and you can see, it moves everything right here for us. And now you can see if I just hit minus, I didn't have to, if I hit backspace, I didn't have to go back 5 or 6 times to get to this point. I just had to hit it once. So again, we're going to go to Type, Break Character, Frame Break. Alright, now once we do that, you can see that we actually have a paragraph return right here. I'm going to move that, and then we're going to come over here right after Miami. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to Type, Insert Break Character, Frame Break, and bring that back up. And then we're going to go to our www.mbjazzfest.com, and here we're going to do this frame break one more time. So Type, Insert Break Character, Frame Break. Alright, so now I'm going to zoom out so you can kind of see everything, and now you can see we have the basic layouts of where all of our text is set. So we know we're going to have our title here, we're going to have our description here, we're going to have our performers here, and finally our web address at the bottom. Now we're going to start working with our typographic elements, getting these centered and laid out. So in the next video, I want to take you through how to use different type styles and how to set those different styles up in InDesign.